So I am skeptical of the Department of Education. And I think every Democrat who runs really needs to take on this issue, because that's your portfolio, education. You've owned it, and the results aren't good. Well, kids isn't.
The education standards.
Kids isn't learning.
Bill Maher is going in on Democrats about education, and honestly, he's right. Like, this is supposed to be your thing. Democrats have owned education for decades, and the results are trash. Kids aren't learning. That's not even controversial. That's just a fact. And now this Democrat comes on the show trying to flip it around? Nah, Bill Maher is not having it. Let's get into this.
Courting male voters, how can they win them back? Well, I did see Nancy Pelosi's comment today after the vote and the brouhaha with Schumer was that they should have listened to the women. Are we going to break down on men-woman thing now in the Democratic Party?
I don't think we should. I think it's about giving everybody the freedom to chart their own course, the opportunity to succeed, lifting everybody up, not trying to create others, not trying to slice and dice the electorate. I'll tell you the first thing I did, Bill, when I was...
And that goes racially, too?
I think it's for everybody. Absolutely. First thing I did when I was governor, literally after taking the oath of office, I signed my first executive order doing away with the college degree requirement for 92% of
I love that. I had done bits on that myself.
Because I want people to have a shot. And then we followed that up by increasing our VOTEC budget in high schools by 50%. And get this, 81 new apprenticeship programs. Everything from dairy herd management to welding. And we've got 12,400 new Pennsylvanians going through apprenticeships. We don't care if you're male, female, black, white, doesn't matter. We want you to have opportunity in Pennsylvania. We want to lift everybody up.
But the question was, do Democrats have a problem with male voters? But that's going to be the answer no matter what.
That's the answer.
All right. Was it inappropriate for the...
See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. These people literally cannot help themselves. Bill Maher asks a point-blank, simple question. Do Democrats have a problem with men? And Josh Shapiro just short circuits. He immediately goes into this scripted, robotic campaign mode. It's like he's reading his own resume out loud. Oh, look at me. I signed an executive order. I've got 81 apprenticeship programs. I'm helping people manage dairy herds. Like, okay, who cares? That wasn't the question, bro. Nobody asked for a brochure on Pennsylvania's vocational training. We asked if your party is alienating half the population, but they're so terrified of saying anything real that they just pivot to these prepackaged talking points. I love that Bill just cuts him off too. He's like, yeah, that's gonna be your answer no matter what I ask. Because it's true. It's like talking to a wall that's wearing a nice suit and trying to sell you something. He knows if he admits they have a problem with male voters, he looks weak. So he just brags about welding classes instead. It's honestly exhausting to watch. Just answer the guy.
The audience, this is for you, Budget, to boo J.D. Vance at the Kennedy Center last night. No, it's free speech. Okay? Come on.
She didn't even get to answer.
You're right. I'm so sorry. You're right. I tell you.
What, you were comfortable watching that?
I didn't see it. What happened?
They booed him. They called him like a series of expletives. He was with his wife. I thought it was kind of gross. I don't know what you guys thought.
I mean, it would be lovely if we didn't live in that country, but that ship has sailed. And you know, it happens to the other side, too. People have been at dinner, and people will surround them and force them to, including from the left. I mean, we saw that during the Black Lives Matter riots. People would be having dinner, and people would, you know, come on, get out there. I'm like, I'm having dinner. Can you wait? I mean,
well, these were definitely leftists booing the vice president.
I understand. Oh, no, they're terrible at it. Did you see the Love is Blind story?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was bad.
Okay, so that's it. I've never seen this show. Have you ever seen the show?
You've never seen? Oh.
No. Good. Yeah. Good. If you had said yes, you would have lost my vote immediately. But it's anyway. So she's at the altar, and she jilts her fiancé at the altar because it didn't seem like he did a hell of a lot. He apparently didn't do enough thinking about Black Lives Matter. He asked him, what do you think about that? Not at the altar, that would be inappropriate, but I guess sometime during the courtship, and he said, I don't know, I haven't thought about it that much. I mean,
don't want to like get into like the premise of Love is Blind, but they also just met each other like 4 weeks ago and proposed, you know? There might have been some
I mean, this is just hilarious to me. You're at the altar, right? You've known the guy for all of 4 weeks and you dump him right there because he didn't have a pre-approved high-energy opinion on Black Lives Matter? Give me a break. He said he hadn't thought about it that much. That's it. That was the crime. It's just so performative. It's not even about the issue, it's about the look. I see this all the time. People who don't actually have any real conviction. They just outsource their thinking to whatever the correct take is supposed to be that week. And the second someone doesn't have the script memorized, they panic. They can't handle it. Like, oh no, a different perspective. Better run away. It's the same energy as the people booing at the Kennedy Center. They don't want a conversation. They just want to show everyone how virtuous they are. If you actually believe in something, you aren't threatened by a guy saying, I haven't thought about it. But these people, they have no foundation. It's all just for show. Honestly, it's embarrassing.
Extenuating circumstances beyond the politics.
But that was what you said.
I know. I'm saying it might be a fig leaf.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. They just met each other 4 weeks ago.
I'm saying that you don't care enough about Black Lives Matter.
But I really don't. I don't even know you.
You have a small dick. Okay.
You need to put that ring on or whatever it was.
What does the panel think of the Trump administration gutting and potentially eliminating the Department of Education? I'm still thinking about it, honestly.
Hey, you take this one.
Here's what I care about. I got kids with special needs. I've got kids who are coming from poor families who rely on this funding from the federal government to have a shot in life. I said before, I want every child of God to have the freedom to chart their own course, the opportunity to succeed. The federal government made a compact with those kids. I hope they don't break that compact with those kids.
I guess what the question, though, really is the Department of Education doing that? Is it now? They probably are doing some good work. I'm sure they are. What is their budget? Like $200 billion or something? But it also looks like some of these places are just funneling money to people who are not solving the problem. I mean, I saw that story about the $20 billion that went out the door after Biden lost the EPA. It wasn't the EPA, or was it the EPA? But so there was $20 billion that they shoveled to groups because Trump was coming and then they were going to reverse all this stuff. And the supposedly environmental groups, and they were not really environmental groups, and they had no experience in doing it. Like I said before, I care about the plastics. Do I think this money was going to get rid of the plastics in my brain? I do not. So I am skeptical of the Department of Education. And I think every Democrat who runs really needs to take on this issue, because that's your portfolio, education. You've owned it, and the results aren't good.
Well,
Kids isn't.
The education standards.
Kids isn't learning.
Kids are not. Kids isn't learning.
Kids isn't learning. Honestly, Bill cracked me up with that one because he's right. Unintentionally funny, but spot on. Look, we're talking about a $200 billion budget. $200 billion. And for what? You look at the schools, you look at the test scores, and it's just a disaster. It's like the government just keeps cutting these massive checks and nobody ever asks, hey, is any of this actually working? And then you have Josh Shapiro doing the typical politician thing. He starts talking about children of God and kids with special needs, and it's like, okay, great, nobody is against helping kids. But answer the actual question, man. The question is whether this massive bloated department is actually doing its job or if it's just a giant money bonfire. It feels like these agencies just exist to funnel tax dollars to people who aren't solving anything. Democrats have owned the education portfolio forever, and they've got nothing to show for it but bad results and excuses. At some point, you have to admit that just throwing billions at a failing system isn't a strategy, it's just a waste.
I think through all this, I'm sorry, Sam.
I will say it's clear that our education achievements are not where they need to be, right? Like, we look at any comparison to any other country, we're just not keeping up. The question is, absent that funding, would it be worse, right? We don't know. This money, if it can get funneled back into the states, I'm assuming there are some Democrats who say, good, keep the top lines at where they are and we can use it to our benefits. But this money was also used to set education standards, to study how to do better curriculums, to figure out how to recruit teachers in a comprehensive, thorough way. And so I don't know every program that they are cutting right now, but the idea that there won't be any adverse consequences seems not logical.
Of course not, because that's what they do. They blow everything up first. That's what I don't get about this.
I think they're going about it wrong. First off, I think it's important that we support the American people, not the American institutions. You are right that there is waste, there is fraud, there is abuse in these institutions. It should be rooted out. It's one of the reasons why when I was a county executive of Pennsylvania's third largest county, we did zero-based budgeting. We didn't go in with a hatchet. We literally went in and said, your budget's zero. Build it up to where it needs to be. And you know what happened? Some agencies were reduced. Some agencies got a lot more because it was mission driven. I think we've got to focus on meeting the mission, meeting the goals, and then driving the funding out to meet those goals.
Bro, every single time Bill Maher asks this guy a question, Josh Shapiro just turns it into a campaign speech about himself. Like, did you hear that? He's talking about zero-based budgeting when he was county executive. Cool, man, nobody asked. Bill Maher is trying to have a real conversation about education being gutted, and this dude just pivots into, well, when I was in charge, we did it the right way. Like, okay, congratulations, you want a trophy? And I mean, look, the woman on the panel at least tried to make a real point. She's saying, hey, this money funded curriculum development, teacher recruitment, actual standards, and that's a fair point, right? But then Shapiro jumps in, and it's politician brain. He can't help himself. Support the American people, not the American institutions. That sounds great as a bumper sticker, but what does that actually mean? Like, what are you actually proposing here? This is why people can't stand politicians, man. They never just answer the question. They always got to make it about themselves and their record. It's exhausting. Just be real for once.